The moment that you find that your old life no longer fits, and this is a moment that arrives quietly for many people on the awakening journey. It doesn't come in as a full-on breakdown generally, although it can. Not normally as a crisis, but as a subtle, persistent feeling that something in your life just no longer fits any longer. You might still be showing up and still doing what you've always done, and still playing the roles that you know how to play. And yet in your body, there's a sense of unease, of friction, of misalignment. Often it might feel like a heaviness, maybe a mild depression, a resistance, a feeling of wearing clothes that no longer belong to you, no longer fit. And this can show up in unexpected ways. A job that you've been passionate about and loved and that has paid the bills and brought you security suddenly feels draining in your bones. The familiarity of that job can become confusing, and you can question, how do I do this task that I've done a million times? A relationship that once felt safe and comfortable now may feel constricting. Places that you used to love begin to feel foreign. Activities that you used to do feel totally not you anymore. And you still do them because that's what you've always done. But it just doesn't feel right. There can be an agitation. And you can't explain why. Because nothing obvious has changed, except something in you is shifting. And this can be one of the most disorientating phases of the awakening journey, because the discomfort isn't dramatic. It's quiet, it's internal, and it doesn't respond to logical thought processes, which you may try. You may try to push through it, to motivate yourself more, to be grateful, and to try to make it make sense. But the body doesn't negotiate with truth. What's happening here is not that your life is falling apart. It's that your inner alignment has shifted. And the structures built around the old version of you can no longer hold who you are becoming as you expand. When this discomfort begins to grow, the mind often steps in very quickly, as that's what it's designed to do, because it's the mind's job to keep you safe. And it can only do that by looking backwards. It scans for all of the past experiences, the past pain, the past loss. And when it senses this discomfort, it goes into those memories. What is wrong? What if it goes wrong? What if I lose everything? What if I make a mistake? And this isn't failure. This isn't weakness. This is the mind and the ego personality doing exactly what it was designed to do. The mind doesn't yet know how to trust what's emerging. It doesn't recognise the language of the heart. It doesn't understand intuition. And it doesn't move at the pace of the soul. So when your life no longer fits, the mind goes into panic, anxiousness for no clear reason, restlessness, a feeling of being untethered, as though the ground beneath you is shifting. But what's important to know here is that nothing has gone wrong. You're not losing your way. You're standing in a threshold. And thresholds can be uncomfortable because they're unknown and they exist between what was and what is not yet fully formed. And this is also the phase where parts of you that were once left behind begin to stir, to be reintegrated into the wholeness that is you. The younger parts, the inner child, the silence parts, the creative, intuitive, expressive parts. All of the parts that adapted in order to belong, to fit in. All the parts that learned to stay quiet, to stay small, to stay safe. And as your soul begins to come back online, these parts rise. Not to overwhelm you, but to be welcomed home. Because we take all parts with us as an integrated whole. But it can feel confusing, because instead of clarity, you will undoubtedly experience emotion. Grief may come up without a clear story, longing without a clear direction, a sense of loss for something that you can't quite name. And all that needs to happen with this energy that comes up, energy, emotion, is for it to be allowed to be seen, heard, acknowledged, and felt through. And the body knows how to do this. It's not regression, it's integration. So what to do in this phase? First of all, slow down. Stop trying to force certainty. Place one hand on your body and just remind your nervous system, I am safe. Nothing needs to be decided today. Nothing needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to be rushed. Then you will start to begin to listen differently. Not to the loudest voice in your head, but to the quieter intelligence beneath it. The part of you that knows when something is no longer true. The part of you that feels relief at the thought of letting that go, even if fear follows closely behind. And finally, you offer compassion to the mind. You don't try to silence it, don't argue with it. You let it know, I see you, I know that you're trying to protect me. And I'm learning to trust something deeper now. This phase of awakening is not about burning your life down, but it's allowing what no longer fits to loosen its grip. It's about creating through inner safety, for your true self to emerge without force. And if you're here, your life maybe feels slightly too small, too tight, or strangely unfamiliar. You're not behind, you're not broken. You're not having a midlife crisis or any other type of crisis. You're in the middle of remembering who you are beyond the roles that you learned to survive through. And this is exciting. And this remembering is not meant to be rushed. It's meant to be held. It's meant to be observed.